Welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today. I know how busy fall weekends can be, and we greatly appreciate you taking the time to be with us this morning. My name is Melinda German. I am the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Business Programs, and our Dean, Dr. Joyce Russell, sends her regrets. She is out of town this weekend. A few housekeeping things before we begin. Daley mentioned our resource fair that will be held in the quad right outside the Villanova School of Business, which is Bartley Hall. I encourage you to take your time and speak with our students, our staff, and our faculty who will be there to answer any questions you may have and give you an opportunity to learn more about our various programs. Please wander into Bartley Hall when you are there and be sure to visit our recently renovated Gemelic Lab for Financial Markets. I find that when I speak with prospective students and their families, there are typically three main areas of interest: the admission process, what the experience will be like when enrolled, and then what happens upon graduation. Well, you just learned about the first one from Daley, and now we will focus on the next two. And to do so, I have a great team with me today. I am happy to introduce our panel. Ms. Brenda Stover is our Assistant Dean of Professional Development and Director of the O'Donnell Center for Professional Development. Brenda and I have worked together in VSB for over 20 years and collectively have about 55 years of Villanova experience. Please do not do the math and just trust me when I say we both started when we were quite young. Ms. Gabriela Sarmiento is a senior from Panama, and Mr. Antonio Talotta is a junior from New Jersey. I would venture to guess that some of you in the audience today hail from New Jersey as well. And now to answer a couple of the questions that we have. What will the experience be like, and what happens upon graduation? You will often read or hear our VSB mantra, creating business leaders for a better world through the Augustinian values of Veritas, Unitas, and Caritas, truth, unity, and love. You've already heard that a couple of times this morning. To us, that means creating adaptive and creative problem solvers who work collaboratively in an inclusive community and who are humble servant leaders focused on the greater good. Our VSB experience focuses on all these aspects, and this morning, we will focus on the academic programs and our professional development programs. I will share some specifics about the academics, and then I will pass it over to Brenda to talk about our professional development. I will begin with our faculty. Our faculty are teacher scholars, which means that excellence in teaching is as important as an excellent reputation in research. Students and teachers are engaged in active learning, whether in the classroom setting, during office hours, or beyond. Faculty are committed to giving our students an experience that mirrors the real world. They are focused on making the classroom come alive with practical projects and cases beginning as early as the fall semester of students' first year. When our faculty interview for a position with us, they are required to teach a class, and the students in the class are then asked for feedback. We just hired 17 new professors for this academic year, and all of them taught a class last year, unfortunately, mostly on Zoom. Our student-to-faculty ratio is about 15:1 in VSB, and the average class size is roughly 26. Students will not be in a large lecture hall. Faculty will get to know their students. When you wander around Bartley Hall today, you will see that our classrooms are not very large. Our curriculum, all of our students earn a Bachelor of Business Administration degree. In our curriculum, students take half of their classes through the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences and half through the School of Business. We believe that both are critical in preparing students to become adaptive problem solvers and well-rounded individuals. All VSB students take a series of courses that we refer to as the business core, as well as specific courses in the major that they select. The direct admission model, meaning that students apply to and are admitted to the School of Business, allows students to take their first business class in the fall of their first year. All first-year students take our Business Dynamics class, which is a broad intro to business. It gives students an opportunity to explore the various disciplines and begin to think about where their passions may lie. Students do not need to have a focus on what they want to major in on the way in. Actually, we prefer that they don't, and that they leave themselves open to looking at the various majors that we offer. Students also take several other business core classes before declaring a major in early spring of sophomore year. VSB offers 7 majors, as you can see: accounting, economics, finance, management, management information systems, marketing, and real estate, and 2 co-majors in business analytics and international business. And you may ask, what does a co-major mean? And to us, that means that a student cannot do one of those 2 as a standalone major. They must do it in conjunction with one of the other 7 majors. We also offer 9 minors within the business school. Our most common, well, not the most common, our newest minor is artificial intelligence and machine learning. That minor was just approved this past year, and that tends to be one of our more popular ones moving forward. There is no limit to the number of students who can declare a specific major, and about half of our students double major in business. Other students do choose to minor, but they do not need to. We also have a lot of support for students as they navigate their VSB experience. The Clay Center at VSB, which is named for our former dean of the business school, Al Clay, is a one-stop shop student service center, so to speak. Our advising team is housed in the Clay Center, along with Brenda and her team in the O'Donnell Center for Professional Development, which you will learn more about shortly. We use an integrated advising model with professional academic advisors, peer advisors, and faculty mentors. Our students have the same professional academic advisor for their 4 years with us. Our advisors will guide students on academic planning, connect students with campus resources, and support students throughout their journey. Students will also have a peer advisor, a junior or senior, who will help them with transition issues, share information about campus activities, and answer questions that may be better suited peer-to-peer. Our faculty mentors share their knowledge and expertise about their discipline. Mentors and students can discuss any number of topics, including career paths, graduate school, elective course options, or secondary majors. Other opportunities that we often receive questions about: study abroad. There are a lot of opportunities for our students to study abroad, and hopefully they will be able to take advantage of these opportunities again soon. In a normal year, about 55% of the graduating class has had at least one study abroad experience, either during the fall or spring semester or during the summer. Some students participate in our Global Citizens program in the spring semester of their first year in either London or Singapore. And just before COVID shut things down, we offered shorter 2-week experiences at the end of the spring semester. We are very hopeful that things will open up again very soon. We encourage students to explore options in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences and have had many students who minor in disciplines including English, math, peace and justice, theology, philosophy, communication, and the list goes on. There are many opportunities for students to work with our faculty on research projects And every semester in the spring, we host a VSB Research Day where students present their projects to the VSB community. And lastly, the Davis Fund for Student Experiences, which is made possible by the generous support of alum Mr. Jim Davis, gives students the opportunity to apply for funding for experiences beyond the classroom. Over the past few years, we have funded students to attend both domestic and international conferences, participate in case competitions, as well as provided financial support to students who have unpaid internships. I could go on and on about opportunities available to our students, but I will stop now and turn it over to Brenda Stover, who will share information about our professional development programs. I hope to get to meet you all this afternoon or earlier this morning, and thank you again for coming. Brenda?
Thank you, Dean Durbin. Good morning, and I echo her sentiments welcoming you here today. We appreciate that you chose to spend part of your weekend with us. I have to tell you, as a former college cheerleader, standing on a basketball court in front of a filled stadium does something to me. If I would have cleared this with Melinda in advance, she is my boss, I would have started a Let's Go Nova cheer, but I did not, so I'll let that go for now. I am Brenda Stover, and I have the great privilege of being part of the Clay Center at VSB and leading the O'Donnell Center for Professional Development in the School of Business. Formally, I often share that the O'Donnell Center's goal is to help business students become career ready. But for the parents in the crowd, I will tell you that myself and the rest of my team in the O'Donnell Center are keenly aware of how important it is for us to prepare your students when they're with us during their four-year career for professional success, so they do not end up in your basement upon graduation. All right? I got a little bit of applause for that. So we got that in mind. We got you. All kidding aside, the O'Donnell Center provides resources and services that are designed to intentionally guide students through the career decision-making process, gain hands-on experience, and build a network of peers, alumni, and employers that are related to their career interests. Foundationally, got to make sure I got the technology working here. There we go. Foundationally, we deliver a unique backpack to briefcase professional development curriculum that's required of all VSB students and is embedded in the business core curriculum that Melinda spoke of. We call backpack to briefcase lovingly B2B. We see B2B as laying the groundwork for each individual student's career progression. In a moment, I'm going to give you a few more details about B2B. The various components of that B2B professional development curriculum are designed to tee students up to pursue and participate in experiential education. From our standpoint, experiential education is a fancy way of saying externships, internships, and co-op programs, and what I would guess that many of you are interested in learning more about today. We have a very strong internship culture within VSB, and I'm thinking that Gabriela and Antonio will address that, and they are good evidence that that in fact exists. Students, professionals, our professional staff, our faculty, all embrace the idea that having opportunities to bridge theory to practice, to have the hands-on experience in applying their business, what they're learning in the classroom, their business knowledge, in a work experience is a critical part of the overall academic experience in VSB. Our experiential education efforts are multifaceted. We provide students with one-on-one coaching as well as workshops that help them prepare to develop a plan to search for opportunities that are of interest to them. Other initiatives include offering programs that allow students to gain structured hands-on experience and academic credit through semester and summer academic internships, programs like our spring accounting internship program, and our full-time 6-month co-op program, which is very unique, by the way, for a four-year business school to offer a full-time co-op program. And additionally, we work hand in glove with the Central Career Center here at the university to develop employer partnerships and opportunities that align with our students' interests. Equally as important as having real-world experiences are providing our students with the opportunity to explore career paths, industries, and professions, and to build that network of peers, alums, and employers too. You've heard me already say networking, building networks a couple of times. We feel like that's a critical charge for us to help students understand how to network, who the people are that they can engage with to build a network, and then to act on engaging their network to their advantage. We devote a lot of our efforts in the O'Donnell Center to providing students with wide-ranging career education offerings. Many of those opportunities are planned in collaboration with our 29 student business societies, our 5 academic centers of excellence in VSB, and with the University Career Center. And while many of our career education events allow students to meet and network with alums and employers, our VSB Mentor program provides them with a structured opportunity to engage in a one-on-one partnership with an alumni who has volunteered to serve as a mentor. Our students in the School of Business are invited to participate in the VSB Mentor program shortly after the start of their second semester sophomore year, right after they choose their major. We usually have about 55 to 60% of each one of our graduating classes who elect to participate in the program. We use state-of-the-art matching software that allows students to match their career interest with alumni mentors who are volunteering, and then out of that they get matched, again, one-to-one with an alum, who they will then work with throughout graduation, or until graduation for many folks beyond graduation. And we have a minimum requirement where the alumni mentor and the student mentee have to have a minimum of 1 contact per month. Many of our mentor-mentee pairs take it above and beyond what's required and will stay in ongoing conversation throughout every week, frankly. So that's a quick overview of how the O'Donnell Center will support you as a student during your time at VSB. I wanted to take a couple of more minutes and do a little bit of a deeper dive into backpack to briefcase, because that is so foundational to our overall professional development efforts. So Backpack to Briefcase is a 4-year professional development curriculum. And the way when I talk about it with students, what I say to them is think about it as us providing you with the structure for navigating that big, scary idea of career, right? That is why many folks come to college, is to position themselves for a good and/or better career that they could have gotten without a college education. But we know that the idea of navigating all the decisions that come along with finding an appropriate career path, at least one to start out on, is daunting and can be scary. So B2B is designed to guide students each academic year through some of the major decision points that go along with their career and professional development. First year, there are Backpack to Briefcase components embedded in the fall semester as well as in the spring semester. The emphasis in the first year is introducing students to the campus-wide and the VSB-specific career and professional development resources that are available to them. And then in the spring semester, we start focusing on some of the rudimentary professional development skill building. Things like preparing a resume, having it reviewed and critiqued, working on their networking skills, and getting introduced to our campus career management portal that's known as Handshake. Sophomore year is a 1-credit standalone course. That is a live in-person course led by members of my team and members of the Career Center. I like to describe it as more of a tactical course. We start the course out focusing on helping students understand what their brand is, what their strengths are that make them who they are, and how they can use that to present themselves. And then we focus on all of the pieces that relate to being ready to look for externships, internships, and full-time jobs. Things like interviewing skills, networking, interacting with employers. Junior year is also a standalone one-credit course known as the Bartley Briefcase Challenge. It is designed to culminate in a class-wide case competition. So students will spend a number of weeks in classroom learning things like how to make an effective presentation, how to dissect a case and problem solve on it, how to write an executive summary. And then partway through the semester on a Wednesday evening, everybody who's enrolled in the class, and it's typically half of the junior class that take it each semester, are gathered together in Bartley. They're provided with the case. They're introduced to their case team, 6 or 7 students. Then they have from Wednesday night until Friday night to build their case. And then starting at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, the case teams start to present to groups of business executives. And that will go on throughout the day. Students will get evaluated. And there are cash prizes involved, which is always a nice motivator. And then finally, senior year is our only optional or voluntary component of Backpack to Briefcase. But we will continue to encourage students in their senior year to take advantage of the Villanova University and the VSB career and professional development resources and activities that are available. The fact of the matter is with VSB students, many of them come into their senior year having been offered and accepted a full-time position. So many of them will disengage from the employer types of activities on campus, but may start to focus on things like transitioning, topics about transitioning to adulthood and working in the real world. And we'll provide those opportunities for education as well. I think it's important to note that our professional development initiatives are not offered or provided in isolation. We have a very collaborative approach, as you saw in one of the videos before we got started. Villanova is a collaborative place. We live that and breathe that in VSB as well. We are fortunate, as Dean German indicated, in the O'Donnell Center to actually be a center within the Clay Center. The Clay Center is the Undergraduate Student Service Center for business students. And so my team lives alongside the academic advisors, which leads to a great outcome for VSB students. We are positioned to help provide them with a very holistic, positive experience. And then the other area where we have extreme collaboration, and I've mentioned this a few times previously, is with the university's Central Career Center. We are working with them literally every day to help develop employer partnerships, work on career programs, and many, many other things. In that regard, I often say to VSB students, you are fortunate that you have the power of 2 working for your career and professional development success between the O'Donnell Center team and the School of Business and the Career Center at the university level. As Melinda will tell you, I could spend all day talking to you about all things professional development, but I believe there are a few other things on your agenda. So I'm going to wrap it up here and be turning it over to the stars of our show, our students, in a moment. But before I do, I did want to share some information with you. My guess is that many of the parents in the room are most interested in this. What's the outcome of the VSB experience? What does it result in? And I'm here to tell you very, very good things. As you can see on the screen, I'm sharing with you the outcomes for our class, VSB class of 2020. We had a 94% successful placement rate. What that means is 94% of the students who graduated in 2020 from VSB that were seeking full-time employment, a volunteer experience, or plan to go to graduate school, within 6 months after graduation, 94% of them reported having successfully gained one of those experiences. And while this is a great outcome, a great percentage, it's not as good as what we usually are. So the class of 20 was impacted, as I'm sure you can imagine, by various components associated with the start of the pandemic. Our typical successful placement rate for VSB students is in the 97% range. I'm equally or even more proud of these 2 statistics. For the class of 20, 98.7, we like to be particular. I would like to just round it up to 99% of that class participated in one internship or co-op experience during their time with us. And I think equally or possibly even more important is that over 80% of that class participated in 2 or more internship or co-op experiences when they were with us. And that represented a 6% increase from the class of 19 in terms of those folks who participated in 2 or more experiences. That has become the industry standard with employers who do a great deal of college recruiting for entry-level hires. They have an expectation that our students come to them ready and prepared to face the business world with several hands-on experiences. So we devote a lot of our efforts in the Clay and O'Donnell Center to encouraging students to engage in those opportunities and providing them with experiences that will help them in that regard. And then finally, the average starting salary for the class of 2020 was $67,333, and that was a 4% increase from the class of 2019. So we're continuing on an upward trajectory there. Again, I'm going to wrap it up today, but would really like the opportunity to get to talk with you individually during the information fair. So if you have any questions about anything that I've spoken about or things that I didn't, feel free to come see me at the info fair. And now it is my great pleasure to turn things over to Gabriela.
Thank you so much, Brenda. Well, my name is Gabriela Sarmiento. I go by Gabby. I am a senior at VSB. I'm majoring in finance, but I'm also minoring in international business, marketing, and psychology, which is outside of the business school. As Dean German mentioned, that is something very popular within the business school. We love to also go outside to explore more opportunities within the liberal arts school. I'm originally from Caracas, Venezuela, but I moved to Panama 3 years before coming here to study. So it's no surprise that the first thing that people ask me when I introduce myself and where I'm from is, how did you end up in suburban Pennsylvania? And the answer to that is, I have family in the area, and when I was thinking of applying to colleges, I was very much looking into business school, and my aunt told me, there's a really good business school nearby, and this was around 2016, where we have just been named #1 business school in the country by Bloomberg Business Week. So I looked it up online, and that was the first thing that came up, and I was like, yeah, that seems like a place that I want to apply to. I came to visit in May, which is the only time that I could travel here, but it was the summer, so there were no tours being offered. However, the admissions office managed to get one of the international students that was still hanging around campus to give me a personalized tour for me and my family. I also got to meet with the admissions office. I got to meet with the financial aid office and the business school. I got that whole speech about B2B, and it was amazing. And I remember leaving and thinking, if they did all of this for nobody from Panama, this is clearly a school that cares, and this is where I want to be at. And, well, long story short, I applied early decision, and, well, the rest is history, as they say. The unique selling proposition of Villanova and the business school, you're going to hear it so many times from so many people. It's the community, and there's a reason why everybody talks about it. This is the most welcoming community I've ever experienced, and I've lived in 3 countries, and I've been to many schools. So trust me when I say that. I came from Panama without knowing anybody that went here. I know that that's not usually the case. We have a lot of people from Jersey. I'm sure Antonio's going to talk about that. So a lot of people come here knowing people from high school. That was not my case, and it's not the case for a lot of other students here. And trust me, making friends here is the easiest thing you'll ever do. I've met some of the best people in my life here and made friendships that will last a lifetime. Some of the best experiences I've had here at Villanova, or thanks to Villanova, I got to study abroad in Urbino, Italy, through the Business and Culture in the Italian Context program, which is the best one, but I'm biased. It is by far the most popular, I would say, within the business school, and I would recommend it to anybody that asks. I can talk about it for hours. It's also an opportunity to take one of the most important, rewarding professional experiences. I got to do internships every summer since I started school. And some of the most important ones I got through the help of actually Brenda, who I met with during my sophomore year, and I was talking to her about my career prospects and how I wanted to focus in finance and how I was from Panama and I was probably going to do an internship there. And she put me in contact with one young alumni called Melinda, and he is my mentor now. And thanks to him, I got a job opportunity in Panama. And thanks to that opportunity doing financial analysis for his company and some internal consulting, I was able to obtain the internship last summer for Goldman Sachs in their risk division, and now I have a full-time position there. So I'm very excited to take everything that I learned at Villanova to the next steps in my career. The resources offered by the business school, whether that's alumni support from other students, preparing for everything, like preparing for interviews, resume workshops, all of that is offered both embedded in the curriculum through Backpack to Briefcase or through other resources such as in the O'Donnell Center for Career Development and the Career Center and the university as a whole. And all of that gave me the tools that I needed to accomplish what I did in my internships and what I will do in the future. And it also gave me the opportunity to give back. I'm a peer tutor. Everything that I learn, I'm trying to help other students learn as well, and I'm also trying to help as much as I can other students that are looking at opportunities both in Goldman Sachs or in other fields of finance to prepare for their interviews and internships. So that is my story. I hope that you consider VSB. I cannot recommend it anymore than I do now. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Antonio Talotta. I'm a junior international business and finance co-major and Spanish minor here in the Villanova School of Business. I'm originally from Washington Township, New Jersey. As we've mentioned, a lot of New Jersey people come to Villanova, and that's great. And I think there's really two things that have characterized my Villanova experience thus far. I think number one, it's the incredible opportunities that VSB has provided, and number two, it's the amazingly supportive Villanova community. When I initially came to VSB, I had absolutely no idea which area of business I wanted to pursue, and that's okay. During my first semester here, as Dean German mentioned, I took Business Dynamics, a course that exposed me to all the different business disciplines and really showed me that I had a lot of optionality within VSB. I also formed a really great relationship with my Business Dynamics professor, and he's since been a mentor to me throughout my career journey. Also, during my first semester here, I had the opportunity to travel to Detroit for a sustainability conference as part of the Business Without Borders Club. And that entire experience was paid for by the Davis Fund for Student Experiences. It was incredible, and it really opened my eyes to all of the opportunities VSB has to offer both on and off Villanova's campus. And speaking of off campus, pretty far off campus, during my second semester here, I traveled abroad to Singapore as part of the unique Global Citizens Program for first-year students. I lived in Singapore for 3 months, and it was absolutely life-changing. During my time there, I took all of my VSB classes so that I wasn't falling behind my peers, but on the weekends, I had the opportunity to travel all throughout Southeast Asia, and it was amazing. I had plans after that to go directly to another study abroad program in Australia for 2 weeks. Unfortunately, 3 months into my Singapore program, about halfway through, COVID struck, and we were forced to come home. It was devastating, to say the least, but I was fortunate in that I was still able to participate in my international internship that was part of that program. I did a mergers and acquisitions internship for a firm in Singapore, and I did that virtually. And then in lieu of my second study abroad experience, I participated in a unique course that VSB put together in the height of the pandemic to focus on and address challenges, business and leadership challenges during crisis time. This was a really interesting course, and I participated as part of that course in a case study that I then presented for a VSB alumni that works at Amazon. And this was a great way to really bolster my resume at a time when not a lot of other schools were offering opportunities for their students. And it was these two experiences that really informed my desire to want to focus on finance when I came back from my sophomore year. And so I really focused on pursuing a career in that field. I joined all of the different finance-related groups at VSB, the Villanova Finance Group, the Mergers and Acquisitions Society, and I even became an analyst on our student-managed Wildcat Fund, which has over $1 million in assets under management. It was through the training I received in these clubs and activities, as well as the connections I made with upperclassmen that helped me to, over winter break of last year, secure a full-year internship position at a local boutique investment bank that loves recruiting Villanova students. I've been working there since February, and it's been an incredible learning opportunity. And then finally, during my second semester of my sophomore year, I navigated the notoriously difficult investment banking recruiting process, and I absolutely could not have done it without the amazing alumni network at VSB. I hopped on countless networking calls with VSB alumni at virtually every major bank on Wall Street, and they were always willing to chat, give me advice, review my resume, run me through interview questions, and answer my sometimes dumb questions, and just talk. And that was really, really instrumental in me eventually accomplishing my goal and securing an investment banking internship at Nomura in New York City next summer. I'm really looking forward to that opportunity, and I'm eternally grateful for all the incredible opportunities VSB has provided me over my short time here, and as well as the countless connections I've made with alumni and fellow students. I'm really excited for all of you and for all of the potential opportunities and connections you can make, and I'm looking forward to making many more in the remainder of my time here. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day.
All right, let's hear it once more for our wonderful speakers. Thank you. All right, so at this time, before I begin dismissing all of you to head out for a campus tour, we do have a couple of minutes to take any questions from the audience. This could be for our students. Certainly, I guess if you have questions for the faculty, you can also catch them outside. But at this time, I have some colleagues with microphones, so please just raise your hand if you have a question for us.
Without falling.
Good morning. Quick question on the 94%. Is that all within their field of interest, or does that include jobs that perhaps weren't within their field of interest?
That is not something that is asked on the senior survey, whether it was a position of interest for them or not. A statistic I didn't include, but I think is very important, is that many of our students in that 94% successful placement rate have had multiple offers, and they report on us the one that they've selected. So likely for the majority of folks, it's the most highly desirable opportunity, but we don't track information on the preference of the experience.
Good morning. The admissions process is a little confusing. If the student applies early action, when would they find out if they were accepted or denied?
Great question. So the early action notification release date is about mid-January. So with that November 1st deadline, students will hear back about mid-January.
Getting my workout today.
Thank you. Good morning. Great program. Can you comment on the accounting majors and the 150 credit requirement? Like, do people do the summer to catch up? Do they stay a fifth year? Just, what do you see generally with the Villanova accounting majors?
Well, I would say yes to all of what you just asked. Students do it in many different ways. So some of our students, if they come in with a fair number of AP credits, which many of them do, they can do the 150 credits in their 4 years with us. We require 125 credits, so it's 25 additional credits. Some students overload during their time with us in the fall or spring semester. Some students do take summer classes. Some students do extra time, and we do have a Master's of Accounting program that many of our undergraduate students would go right into to satisfy the 150. So there's no simple one-size-fits-all answer, but thank you for asking.
Good morning, wonderful program. Thank you so much, the panelists. You just mentioned the master's program. Is that a program, a 5-year program, or is that an additional 2 years?
So the accounting program is roughly 30 credits. It would be for the most part, one additional year. Some of our students do a 3.5 plus 1. They can finish undergraduate 3.5 years, do the other year. Those who take the 4 years to finish it would do an additional fall or spring. But it's one additional year for the Masters of Accounting.
Good morning. You mentioned the hiring of 17 new faculty over the last year. Can you just comment on the general increase or goal for the faculty, and what's the average length of tenure here?
I don't know that I could comment on the tenure. We have many faculty who have been here for many, many years. I don't know what that timeline is. The faculty that we hired, some were what we refer to as new additional lines to support our programs, and others were replacements for retirements. Sorry, I don't have those specific numbers.
Is it common for students that start in a liberal arts program to transfer into VSB, and what would that process look like?
That process we get that question a lot. That process is very competitive. So we do have students who start off in liberal arts or sciences or engineering, or get very few nurses who want to transfer to VSB. But we do get other students. It's very competitive. So we do accept students as what we refer to as internal transfers, but that process is probably similarly competitive to coming in as an incoming first-year students. I tell folks that if they want business, they should apply to business.
Are you able to double major across schools?
Yes, we do have students who double major across, basically it would be VSB in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. We've had students who request that in engineering. I think in my time at Villanova, we've had one student who's done that. But we do have students who do a double major, a degree within business and a major within the College of Arts and Sciences. Again, that's a fair number of credits, which is why we have more students minoring in the College of Arts and Sciences than majoring. Students, it gets complicated with the degrees, but students would get their degree from business, and then they could do a major within arts and sciences.
First of all, thank you so much for a truly informative presentation. I have to tell you, it's the best that we've heard so far. So kudos to all of you for that.
Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I heard the students, one mentioned that they have already started a relationship with Goldman Sachs and the gentleman with a boutique investment firm. I'm curious to know if Villanova maintains relationships specifically with any employers such as the Goldman Sachs or the likes, or even on the boutique side, where you've noticed a high concentration of students transitioning into. Thank you.
I would say pick any one of the bulge bracket banks and many of the specialty ones, and you would say that Villanova has a footprint there. My first 10 years or so in the school, I've been in the School of Business for 18 years. My first 10 years or so, I would say I spent about 60% of my time working on just that, building out our footprint on Wall Street and financial services. So we have strong partnerships with Goldman, as was mentioned, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Barclays, Stifel, Nomura, BMO. The list goes on, frankly.
Hi, this question is for the students. Is there anything over your time here at Villanova that you would like to have improved or changed?
I don't know that I have a great answer to that. I really, honestly, have had a wonderful experience. I think if I could change one thing, it'd be the pandemic. But I think Villanova has handled that exceedingly well. As you can see, we're all gathered here today, and that itself is an incredible feat. We were on campus all of last year. At least, most students were. It was sort of up to preference. But I was here all last year. Had some classes in person, socially distanced, some online, and I'm incredibly grateful for that I could still have a relatively normal college experience during something as devastating as the pandemic has been. And so, if I could change one thing, maybe it'd be that, but that's nothing Villanova could control, and I think they've done a great job. The school has done a great job really putting the students first and making sure that students are getting the college experience, they've been promised. And I think that's extremely impressive.
Thank you. I would say I would echo everything Antonio just said. I've lived my Villanova experience to the fullest, and I'm so grateful for everything that has given to me. The only thing that personally I would think that I would have liked to do is some research. I have some friends that I have dedicated some time to collaborating research with professors, and as Brenda and Dean German mentioned, we are students and scholars here, so I definitely would have liked to take on some research opportunities, which is something that I regretfully didn't do, but you can still have a very full Villanova experience even if you don't do that.
All right, we're going to take our last question right here.
Hi, I was wondering if Antonio could speak more about his sustainability internship in Detroit.
Yeah, so Detroit was actually a conference that we went to. I'm currently the co-president of a club called Business Without Borders, which is the only business society that's focused on that intersection of sustainability and profitable business, which is something I'm personally pretty passionate about. And yeah, so we're part of an organization called Net Impact, and we went to a conference there where we networked with people doing really cool sustainable startups and impact investing and the like. And that was something that was paid for by the Davis Fund for Student Experiences, so we didn't have to put any of our own money up for that, which was awesome. So yeah, there's pretty much clubs for any of your interests, and you could find opportunities that the school will support if sustainability is something you're interested in.
Just to show you how we operate here, so as Antonio's talking, I'm thinking, oh, I got to talk to him afterwards. Just working with one of my colleagues in the College of Business, they are working on bringing the Chief Sustainability Officer from Boeing to campus in November, and they reached out to me to see if we wanted to partner with the College of Engineering, and I mentioned that the Business Without Borders chapter would likely be interested in hosting a session, so you and me have to talk.
Absolutely.
All right, well, thank you all so very much for providing some questions. I'm sure you have many outstanding questions. So at this time, I'm going to have you all sit tight as we do a kind of slow and safe dismissal. So I'm going to be dismissing by section. All of you, we're all going to head right back into the front lobby where you checked in, and that's where you're going to connect with a blue key current student